On this episode of System Integrators Weekly, so many options for pre-builts everywhere you look, and PC building is back on Twitch. All that and more on this episode of System Integrators Weekly.
Let's go, nerds!
Hello everyone, I'm Brayathorn. Welcome to System Integrators Weekly. It's been a long couple of weeks, I could admit that. It's been kind of a bit of a roller coaster because there's now a void in the system integrator community. That void is keenly felt most on Twitch, where you used to be able to go and consistently watch PC building live on Twitch. So that has been pretty sad. However, there's also now PC building on Twitch. So that's a thing from a different company. So we're gonna talk about that, and you're gonna wanna stick around because it's pretty cool. Before we go on, we gotta pay the bills around here. So I do need to let you know that this episode of System Integrators Weekly is sponsored by CDKdeals.
CDKdeals is an online marketplace that specializes in discounted, genuine Microsoft licenses and game keys for several different platforms.
My viewers can use code BRAY25 to get an additional 30% off, meaning you can get a copy of Windows 10 Pro for right around $15.
Let's get a Windows key. We'll opt for Windows 10 Pro for the enhanced security features. CDKdeals offers an OEM license for a fraction of the price of a retail key. The difference with an OEM key is that you can only use it on one system, but that should be all you need. You will need to make sure you either have Windows 10 Pro already installed or you perform a fresh installation, since OEM keys cannot be used to upgrade from Windows 10 Home if that's what you have installed currently. Here I use code BRAY25. Pay with your method of choice, and once the payment goes through, click View Keys/Codes. Click Get the Key and copy it. Then just go to your Windows search, type in ACT, there it is. Click Activation Settings. My Windows install was already activated, so I'll be replacing that key, but yours should just say Activate Windows. Paste in the key, click Next, and activate, and you're done. Thank you, CDKdeals, for continuing to support the channel.
Now, before we get into it, a couple of disclaimers. This video is being filmed for March 13th, 2022. All the prices and availability that you'll see here may change very quickly, and if they do, you can actually come to my stream. I stream every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday at twitch.tv/Brayathorn and around 8 p.m. and I can help you out with your own pre-built or custom-built PC of your dreams, even a PC part picker list, because yeah, we got a build video coming up because I'm doing a little build for a guy named FuzzyBoy202. Watch for the video explaining that coming up in a couple of days, actually on Tuesday. So stick around, you're gonna love it. Get subscribed. I mean, seriously, we're ramping up production so much. There's probably gonna be 2 more videos this week. 2 more videos. Disclaimer number 2 is that I share my opinions here. Of course, if you disagree, that's totally fine. Please do so politely in the comments below or in the Discord, link in the description below, or on the stream, which I mentioned like 30 seconds ago. Anyway, the last one is, of course, you are buying at your own risk. I am giving you some advice here, but it's not something I'm telling you you absolutely must do. And I'm hoping that you find the advice helpful. But whenever you buy something, things can happen in shipping or the other kinds of things that can happen to electronic devices. And of course, warranties will be mentioned where they are applicable. And yeah, but that's how buying stuff goes. It's always a bit uncertain, but I'll do my best to help you out. That's all 3 of those. We're already done with that. Let's talk about Twitch. So there is a huge benefit to streaming on Twitch. And one of the reasons that I latched onto a particular company when it came to that. When you send off your money to a company and it's a couple grand and you're really needing a computer or really hopeful or happy about getting a computer, having it just show up and you not knowing what went into building it can be a bit anxiety inducing. You don't know exactly how much care and attention went into building your PC, or if someone was just showing up for another day of PC building like it's a chore to do. So when Skytech gaming PCs announced that they were going to be doing live building upon request for their Mark 7 and Mark 9 and Mark ITX systems, I got really excited because those are the higher end systems, yes. And I think it would be cool to have all the systems that are custom, configured, built on stream. It's also something that takes a lot of time and a lot of overhead and a lot of that to keep going. Besides which, they have other things to stream. Like every Thursday, they give away a PC. You should go check them out. It's twitch.tv/Skytech Gaming Official. Check them out. Tell them I said hi. So we're going to explore what options you have there. We're going to do a couple of builds. And but of course, we don't ever just focus on one system integrator here, except for maybe once in a while. I'll do a special episode where I focus on one. Let's talk about something else that's really important to me. And this is only going to take about 30 seconds. The Ukraine thing, the whole situation, the war, the displaced Ukrainians is a huge crisis, a world crisis. And I felt for a long time that I couldn't do anything. So when I was approached by Asteri Wolfwing, Asteri, thank you for bringing me into this, to do something for the World Central Kitchen, I was absolutely thrilled to do it, and I could not wait to do it. And because I knew how my community is, the goal that was originally set of $250 was just blown out of the water, and then the $500 and $1,000, and they were like, someone donated money just to get the goal raised. We had a couple of huge donors and a lot of other people just like throwing in whatever they could, and every bit got us to $1,251 in 2 streams. Thank you, guys, for everyone who donated. The goal has appropriately been moved to $5,000, and because we wanted to do this all month, it's just, if you want, the link is in the description below. If you want to donate, if you want to do it live on stream, so you can see me get all excited about it, 3 times a week, and at the dates previously mentioned and time previously mentioned, just link in the description below. But if you have been feeling helpless with the situation and wanting to help out the affected Ukrainians, families, check the link in the description, because you'll be supporting World Central Kitchen, and they're feeding fresh cooked meals to these people who are, to thousands of families, thousands. So it's a real helpful thing that all of us can chip in a little bit for, and that is much appreciated. If you are intending to come to my stream and drop a donation or anything to me instead, redirect it to that, please. We want to demolish yet another goal and just show our support in a real practical way. The RGB stuff turning to blue and yellow is neato and all, but this is more substantial and real, and it means a ton to all of us. For anyone who has donated anything, thank you. Now, we're going to go through a couple system integrators, and then at the end of this, we're going to explore the options for getting a PC built live on stream by the fine folks over at Skytech. And so let's go ahead and get this started. Of course, there are a ton of options when it comes to iBUYPOWER's same-day ready systems. If you want something as soon as possible, you can get some fantastic deals here, and you get them, like if you order it now, you get it by Wednesday. There are a couple things to be said about the same-day ready systems, as in with the case that they come with and everything. And if you're curious about what I had to say about it when I had one that they lent me to review, check out the review I posted very recently, where I found a couple of ways to get better airflow, because that was the primary concern. What I did was I gathered 4 systems here that we can compare that cover various price points here, although it's mostly around the $1,100 to $1,600 range, because you can only do 4 at a time. Starting off, we have a system that has an i5 12400F and a GeForce GTX 1660 Ti. Still a great card. Turing-based NVENC encoding on there if you're wanting to stream. Now, though this is a budget system, it has a few options that are a little better than that. Instead of having like a stock air cooler that comes with a CPU, you actually get a 120mm all-in-one liquid cooler. Now, in storage, it's only 500 gigs on an M.2 drive. That is really not much. A couple large games and you're out of space. But adding storage, thankfully, is very easy. 600 watt power supply is fine here. That is totally adequate for what you're running. Now, this next one for $13.99. So this is a $250 step up in price. What do you get for that? Well, you go from a 12400F to a 5600X. Now that has the same amount of cores and threads, and arguably the 12400F can be faster in some games and not as fast in others. So they're kind of close to each other. Really, the upgrade here is in the GPU. You will rarely see me recommending an AMD Radeon GPU. Now, why is that? Well, they're not as well-rounded as an NVIDIA GPU. If you want to do anything that is not just specifically gaming, you should go NVIDIA. Their first gen hardware accelerated ray tracing for Radeon is just not very good. It's their first go at it. But the card is very powerful. That combined with the 5600X is going to be quite a potent combination for a strictly gaming PC. Just know that if you're going to be doing anything like streaming or you're considering that, skip past this one. The 5600X has no onboard graphics for handling video encoding, and the video encoders on the Radeon cards, just not that great. Not as good as NV encoders on NVIDIA cards. By the way, this also has the 500 gig M.2. They didn't upgrade that here. And it's still a 600 watt power supply, probably the exact same one. So there's that to consider. Now we have two that are kind of contending with each other. This first one, 1599 right here, is a lot like the one that I reviewed in the video that I mentioned earlier. 5600X Ryzen 5 processor and a GeForce RTX 3060 Ti. This appropriately has a 650 watt power supply. That's just a little bit more juice to power that 3060 Ti, and it is around what NVIDIA recommends for that GPU. And you have AC Wi-Fi built in, because not all of these will. In fact, you'll find that most of these will actually tell you, hey, there's no internal wireless network. You're gonna need an adapter for these first two. Keep that in mind. You should know if you need Wi-Fi or not. If you're not close to where your router is in your house, so you can't plug in with Ethernet, you're going to need Wi-Fi. This one does have built-in Wi-Fi. Okay, and it had all of these, every single one of these systems has 16 gigs of DDR4 3200 RAM. They all have the same cooler, 120 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler, yet the processors keep getting hotter and hotter running. This one does have a 1 terabyte M.2 drive and the 3060 Ti and a B550 motherboard with AC Wi-Fi. Now, a lot of those specs are the same for the other system that's also $1599. However, it has a 12700F processor. Now, that's not the 12700K or KF. This is the i7 12th gen 12700F non-K. So this thing cannot be overclocked through traditional means, yet they still put it on a Z690 motherboard. And also the 12700, even the non-K SKU, can run pretty hot. So I'm a little bit concerned about that 120 millimeter closed loop cooler. It's really pushing it. There are some games where AMD will benefit a bit, and like a 5800X will overtake this, but a 5600X is going to have a little trouble. The downside, though, is that you're getting a downgrade to the GPU. It's a RTX 3060 rather than 3060 Ti, and the uptick in performance with that little Ti on the end there is pretty substantial. So, what would the 12700F be considered for? If you're going to do anything like video editing, stuff like that, this is a better system. Now, when you look at a 12600K and a non-K 12600, it's not just the fact that you can't overclock the 12600 that makes a difference. It's the fact that it loses the E cores or the efficiency cores that the 12600K has. So there's going to be more of a performance difference than just not being able to overclock on the 12600 non-K SKU. Now, the 12700K and the 12700 non-K, this actually keeps the efficiency cores. So this is actually going to be quite good for video editing and tasks like that. Coding, compiling code, things like that. If you don't ever plan to overclock, you really don't need a K SKU. There is auto overclocking that is to be considered, but if you're never really going to do that, and I wouldn't do that on a 120 millimeter all-in-one liquid cooler, by the way, you could go with this no problem. So if you're thinking about like, hey, I want a game, but I also want to pick up video editing, this is a pretty good system right here. Just remember that you are going to lose gaming performance because the 12700F is nice, but you do lose that Ti on the end of 3060 Ti, and you just get a 3060. The one downside to the 12700F that I would say is a real major downside is the fact that it does not have the iGPU, because in 12th gen Intel processors, the iGPU, well, basically the video encoding is very good. So I'm looking at doing something like this myself, where I switch to a 12th gen processor, and I'm going to try to do all my stream encoding using the iGPU and the processor, because it's supposed to be very good, like much better than NVENC. So I'll see that for myself, but just know that if you're going to be wanting to do any kind of streaming, you're probably going to want to get a non-F 12th gen processor. So like a 12600K or 12600, 12700K or 12700, not one with an F on it. Also, by the way, if you're going to be using this system here with a 12700F for video editing or anything, you're going to want more than 16 gigs of RAM. That will slow you down very quickly, but RAM is super easy to add on, and it's DDR4. Even though it's 12th gen Intel, they didn't go DDR5, they went DDR4. So it's easy to find, it's cheap and easy to install more memory, or swap out the memory kit altogether to get faster memory. And I do want to reiterate, yes, that is very little airflow on that front panel. Check out the video right here so you can see what I suggest doing about that, because I explored it, I benchmarked it, I tested it, and stress tested the heck out of it. So check that video out. I went ahead and looked at CyberPowerPC's instant ship systems. I was trying to find something, and you know, lo and behold, I did find it. That's this one right here. It is $9.99, and it comes with a 12400F processor, which is an i5 12400F, and it's a 12th gen Intel processor that is being looked at as a fantastic budget gaming CPU. And the GeForce RTX 3050, 8 gigs of VRAM, GDDR6, and it's slower than something like a 3060. Of course, the number is smaller. It means it's slower. And as a matter of fact, you can get better performance out of a 2060. But as a 1080p gaming GPU, 3050 is fantastic from what I've seen. I'm gonna have to test it for myself, and that is what I'm getting at. There are some drawbacks here. Don't you go and start buying this immediately. Looking at the motherboard is a B660 AC Wi-Fi motherboard now. So it has Wi-Fi, and that's nice, but I'm not sure, they don't tell us what kind it is. Whether it's the, hey, what's the cheapest motherboard you guys have that has Wi-Fi? It will take 500 of those. We don't know. It doesn't say. Hold off on this. Wait until Thursday or Friday. There's a very important video coming out then. It's really exciting. I actually want to come in and take another look at Maingear, because earlier, I think it was in December, I took a look at Maingear and I immediately dismissed them because they had a couple systems there where they severely undercut the power supplies recommendations from NVIDIA. And I just feel like I should give them another chance, because even though NVIDIA puts out that recommendation, 3070, put a 650 watt power supply in there, or 3060 Ti, 650 watt. If you're doing a 3080, put a 750 watt. You know, these are good recommendations to go by for a system integrator who should know these things, but you know, it's fine. We'll go back, we'll give them another look. Maybe they've gotten past that and it was a Christmas thing or something. They were trying to move some units. Who knows? Who knows why they would just do that? I'm sure that's not the case anymore. So let's take a look. Let's shop now. Okay, here we go. And all right, let's go take a look at Origin. I did a build for someone on Origin on the stream, and I was able to put together a pretty nice 12th gen Intel system. So let's take a look at that. And yes, I know I keep harping on about 12th gen Intel, but when AMD was beating the pants off of Intel, I was talking more about AMD. I cannot accurately tell you what the future will hold. I can tell you what's better right now. And overall, Intel is winning. If you have an AMD system, you're fine. If you got a 5000 series Ryzen processor, heck, many 3000 series and 2000 series Ryzen processors are still fine. Since you're coming here for input, my job is to know what's winning in the benchmarks. And it's Intel. But if you already got yourself a rad gaming PC, I love the one that I was testing from iBUYPOWER. It did everything I could have wanted it to. And if you got that system, you're totally fine. But if you're gonna be building out a custom PC right now, I would recommend 12th gen Intel. So I went ahead and configured something already here. You know, you would go to Origin, you'd go to gaming desktops, and then you go to I think it's a Neuron here, and then you can configure, okay? So I put this, it comes default in the regular 4000D. I put it in the Airflow one, of course. There's no price difference at all. If you go with a black or white, there's no price difference, but if you go with one of these colors, it will just really, they'll go with the black case and paint the Airflow panel. That's it. That's all they'll do. And that actually adds on $250. I guarantee you that paint job right there is something you could do very nicely. And if you mess it up, that's a $5 panel from Corsair that you could replace. I wouldn't pay $250 for that. Still though, I mean, I'm sure they do a great job. One thing about these is you get to choose a bonus item. Origin is owned by Corsair. They are not hiding that, it's right there. So you can get a Corsair keyboard or Corsair mouse. My suggestion to you is to just take the $50 Visa gift card and buy a mouse that you already really want. Watch reviews on peripherals, and if you can, go to a Best Buy or something where they have them on display, and get your hands on them, see what works for you, and then use some hand sanitizer probably, because they're probably really gross, because peripherals are highly personal, highly subjective. What I like for my do you want a keyboard like this? I really love it. It's great because my wrists aren't dying after I type 4 emails. but you might hate it. Find a mouse and or keyboard that really suits you. Now, of course, you have free US ground shipping, and you get free iQ RGB lighting with the Corsair Node Pro. So I'm guessing that they're putting some LED strips in there. So this, I moved this over. It was on 11th gen by default. I moved it to 12th gen and down to the 12600K. 12600K can really do it all. It really can. You will get some better performance and frame rates with a 12700K, but that's if you don't need it. You don't need it. If you're just doing a gaming PC, even streaming, 12600K can do that. You can get a real, like if you're doing a white build, I would probably suggest, although it's not just going to cost you $159, you got to pay for DDR5 RAM, but you can get the MPG Z690 Force Wi-Fi. That's a beautiful motherboard with a lot of features. But if you're looking at just a gaming PC, which is what we're building here, MSI Pro Z690A Wi-Fi DDR4 is fine. And 16 gigs of RAM is fine for most gaming PCs, unless your game is Escape from Tarkov. Games are designed, many games that are optimized are designed to, or some that aren't optimized too, are designed to be able to detect system hardware. And if they know that there's extra capacity, it'll use that. It'll reserve that capacity or hop on or just utilize it. So there's a lot of games where you might be playing it and if you have 32 gigs of RAM, you'll be like, whoa, it's using 22 gigs. You couldn't play this on 16. No, apparently Escape from Tarkov has been a problem with system memory. So if you play that game, get 32 gigs. It's only $87 more. But 16 gigs will handle most games. You can always add more yourself. This is very easily accessible. Vengeance LPX memory is very easy to get. Cooling went with the iQ H100i. And then here, the system fans. Now, this is the problem with a system integrator being owned by a fan company that makes some pretty expensive fans. Corsair, I love your products. Nobody does RGB like you guys do. Nobody. Man, them fans can be really pricey. But if you want white fans and to match this white build, you're looking at $302 for 6 fans. 302 money dollars. That's a lot of dollars. If you really want it that way, you can. You can also get your own fan kit, swap them out, do things like that. I want you guys to get used to the idea of modding your own PCs. One reason I wanted to bring you guys to Origin though is because although it's usually a great price to performance option to get the 3060 Ti, there's something going on here because the only price difference you would have to pay to go from a 3060 Ti to 3070 is $49. Just gonna try to click that. There we go. And then it's only $52 to go up to a 3070 Ti. I'm just gonna do that. That literally only added $100 for 2 steps up in GPU. How? I don't know. But if you're thinking like, I want to get into 4K gaming or something, you can go spend $386 from there to go with a 3080. Now, let's back that up a little bit. GPU prices are starting to normalize a bit. They are getting better. It is going to come to the point to where it is no longer more cost effective to get a pre-built. And this is why you're going to start seeing more build content on here. For those who are out to save money, it's eventually going to get to the point to where it's cheaper to build it yourself. But this right here is, I think, a clear sign of prices dropping on the market. Now, market prices dropping usually takes a while to show up with system integrators. The reason for that is they bought their components earlier and waited for them to be shipped. So they paid their distributor the higher prices and they need to get a return on those higher priced purchases. You'll have a whole stock of shelves where you invested a lot more into those. And you're just gonna either take a loss or you're going to try to keep your doors open. So this is good though. This is something, I can't see this as a bad thing. 12600K and a 3070 Ti system for $2465. Now, I've also upgraded this to the 1 terabyte Corsair MP600 Core Gen 4. This is their lower end Gen 4. Still fast, but looking at upgrading to 2 terabytes is really expensive. I would just get the 1 terabyte one and then look at getting yourself more storage to add in yourself. Adding storage, not that difficult. Let's push it up to an 850X right there for $37. And we're still at $2502. Now, the warranties. Boy, there are a lot of options for the warranties here. Comes with 1 year part replacement and 45 days of free shipping. What does a free shipping mean? Don't they just ship it once? Well, if there's a problem and you need to send it back to them, you have to ship it to them. And then they have to ship it back to you. They'll do both of those things for free for you for 45 days. After that, you got to pay for shipping, probably just there. They might ship it back to you and cover that cost. Hard to say. $70 here will give you 1 year of free shipping. Things do get pretty good here. It only takes $250. No, hold off. Don't yell at me. $250 will make it a 3-year part replacement and free shipping warranty. That is not common. I've only seen one other system integrator that does that long of free shipping, and we'll talk about them later on. But each one of these steps just goes up incrementally, and you can add the Evolve upgrade service where you can actually trade in parts for their market value at that time to get upgrades. Think about like trading in your phone. I don't know if that'll apply to GPUs, but probably. What I did though was I made a competing build over at iBUYPOWER's customizer here. We upgraded to the 3070 Ti on the other one for a little over $100. Here, it is $200 because they have a free upgrade from the 3070 to the 3070 Ti, thankfully, because that makes this not completely a wash, but it is $2502. It's around the same price now. So now let's talk about the warranty. So it's $19 here to get 1 year of return ground shipping coverage. There is one thing here that's really important. Okay, we're gonna apply coupons. We'll see which one works. 5% off. So that actually makes this thing $23.66 before taxes and shipping. And I believe shipping right now is free on all desktops. So that's a really good price. You can actually improve your warranty, add more protection right here. You can go up to a 5-year labor, 3 years parts warranty. However, they're not going to cover shipping for that except for the first 30 days. With Origin, if you want, the price is so good on their GPUs. If you want to get the Corsair stuff, if you like what you see here, you have 2 great options here. Yeah, the link will be in the description. I don't get anything from them or iBUYPOWER or anything if you want to use that link, but it's there. Now, that's enough of that. That's all standard stuff. Let's talk about Skytech. You can follow the link in the description and it'll take you to the main page, or then just go to Custom PC Builder, okay? Now, the ones that they will build live on stream are the Mark 7, the Mark 9, and the Mark ITX. That's going to be a compact build, the ITX one. We're going to try building a Mark 7 and a Mark 9. So the Mark 7 build is right here. Now this one, we'll try to keep it more budget oriented, but there is a problem with the configurator right now. This is what happens when you make changes to a website. I have felt that pain myself before, but I did notify them and hopefully it gets resolved. So for the 12th gen option in the configurator, you've got in the Mark 7, you have the option to go with the i7. You see, that kind of makes sense. So 12700K is your option here. If you want to get a case that's not one of these 3, because you have the Skytech Mesh in white, Skytech Mesh in black, that's what these look like. You see it on a lot of their pre-configured pre-builts, or the Deepcool CG560. This one actually comes with RGB fans in the front. These other 2, you have to select that and it costs you a little more. Now, if you want to go with a fancy one, which you're probably gonna do for the Mark 9, you would go to Large Tower. That's gonna give you the O11 lookalike, the Metallic Gear Neo Cube, or you can go with the Asus Tough Gaming GT501 for an additional $55. It's a really nice looking case, not gonna lie. But for this, we're gonna stick with the medium tower. So I went to Skytech Mesh in white. This is one you see a lot from them. It has a nice little window on the side for the PSU. It's got plenty of space for exhaust and intake, mesh front panel, all the good stuff. And you can go with a 360mm all-in-one liquid cooler and select the 6 RGB fans to get RGB all over the place. It's not a very expensive option if you look at some prices of RGB fans. It's $15 to get high performance thermal paste. Let's go for it. We went with the Asus Prime Z690P in Wi-Fi. So here's the issue I was talking about. DDR5 is still expensive. It's not being scalped anymore. Well, some are still trying it. Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. You can buy it at MSRP. It's just that the regular price of DDR5 is pretty much double DDR4 in the same capacity. So you would think that the price of $2378 would drop quite a bit if you switch to the Z690P Wi-Fi D4, which means it's for DDR4. However, there's no DDR4 memory option. So the price appears to stay exactly the same, minus $2. It should actually drop a couple $100 off, depending on the price of their DDR4 RAM. So the only option I can show you guys right now is a DDR5 build. You can stick with the DDR5, you'll still have the upgrade. It is the newer stuff. And this is a 12700K. Thank you, Skytech, for not just getting every KF processor that you could get your hands on. I will say though, this motherboard doesn't have a whole lot in the way of USB ports. It's got like 5 and then 1 USB Type-C. I will say, This is $399 for DDR5, but this is also very nice DDR5. This ADATA Lancer RGB DDR5, 6000 megahertz. Man, with Skytech was like, we're gonna get DDR5. They meant it. They got some really fast memory. Now we can stick with the 3060 Ti, 1080p, 1440p gaming, all you need right there. I'd say to go to 3070, the $100 is not bad here. 15% or so, 14 to 15% difference between the 3060 Ti and 3070. If that's worth $100 to you, let's do that. If you're never going to add storage and all you're doing, mostly what you're doing is gaming, you can grab this 2TB SN550. I would just get the 1TB SN570. It is faster, and I know I said it doesn't matter for gaming, but you can get a better 2TB M.2 drive than this one for less. So add that in yourself. Adding storage, again, super easy. You guys can do it. I believe in you. Power supply 750 watt gold. We'll go 850 here. I hope you're just following along, because the last time I tried to post links for Skytech, they didn't necessarily work. So what I'm going to do is post a link that'll take you to Skytech, and I'll try posting the links for the systems, but if they don't work, follow along with what we've been doing. You can get expedited build and ground shipping, but we're going to skip that, and I'll tell you why. Now, they do only offer Windows 10 installations. However, you just upgrade to Windows 11. It just says right there, upgradable to Windows 11, which does have the scheduler and everything for 12th gen Intel. Now the warranty, this is what I was talking about, where there's only one other company I've seen that offers 3 years of shipping. That is Skytech. For $250, it's about the same price. You get 3-year warranty, parts, labor, and shipping, and lifetime tech support. All right, so we're gonna add this to the cart, and I'm gonna show you how to get it built on stream. How does that sound? The first step to getting it built on stream, kind of, is to put in code Braithorn, because yes, I am working with Skytech and they are working with me, and we're becoming fast friends, and they're pretty awesome. I hang on to their streams a couple times. They're funny. They're hilarious. But adding code Braithorn and hitting apply will take this $2,508 system down to $2,433.61. How much does it cost to get it built live on stream though? It costs you $0. Because it's free. Of course it's free. Right here, when you're checking out, you go to watch us build your live PC live on Twitch. By choosing yes, your custom PC will be scheduled to be built live on the first available time slot. Builds occur every Wednesday between 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific time. I'm guessing that that's going to be expanded at some point. I want this to be a more used option. I want it to be a popular option, because if you're dropping a couple G's on a new system, I feel like you should want to see it being put together. And I want more companies doing this. Now, they do ask you for some info, because they're expecting that you're going to want to be there. What should we call you on stream? What do you plan to use a PC for? Of course, it does say choosing to live stream your PC may increase your turnaround time, because of course they have to schedule it in for the stream. Just know that going in. Let's talk about the Mark 9 real quick. Let's throw together a build. I've already gone through a lot of my logic on this. So just if you're ready for the Mark 9, you're looking for something higher end, or you have a higher end budget, do what I do. Large tower. There we go. That's actually that's a reasonable price on that. You'll usually find them at retail for over $600. So $589, you're getting it under that. Okay, then you can pick the metal. If you want the O11 lookalike, go with that. If you want just straight up awesome airflow and a cool look, go for the Eclipse P500A. I think it's awesome. Like a Stormtrooper looking build, I like that. And then we go on, and you can go with the 360 right there. I wish there was a choice for white. I've seen them. Look, they're right here. They have it in white right there. Why isn't it an option on the builder? And then choose fans, get RGB, of course. Bam. High performance, $15. All right, sure. Now, this is auto set to D4. We're gonna go with the D5 because there's no D4 memory. Now this default, 3200, is defaulted with a 3080. If your budget allows, just add as much as you want. Like if you wanna go with the Western Digital Black SN850, a super fast drive, you want extra storage, get a 2TB standard SSD. That's a SATA 3 SSD. Still very fast for like game storage, and then you have your operating system and most important programs on your Gen 4 drive. There you go. Go for the 1000 watt power supply. If you're doing a 12900K, that thing is just gonna be chugging juice the whole time from that power supply. You're gonna want that extra headroom for when, not if, but when that 3080 power spikes for a couple microseconds, much less a 3080 Ti or 3090, all right? Just keep that in mind. I tend to err on the side of caution when it comes to recommending wattage. It's not that expensive to go from a certain wattage to the next. We're talking about a difference of $30 here to give you an extra 150 watts to help you avoid shutdowns. So the reason I was saying getting the expedited build and ground shipping for an additional $25, it's not a lot of money to spend on that to save a week. However, you are signing yourself up, if you go for the live streaming thing, to potentially wait a little longer anyway. So you can do that actually, and it might help you get in at around this normal 3 to 4 weeks. That might be the move right there. So keep in mind, you have your extended warranties here, although for the more expensive system, it is more expensive to get the higher end warranty. I wasn't anticipating that, and I didn't notice it before, but it is $100 more to get the 3 years warranty on this one, and it potentially scales with the price of the system. So adding this to cart, this $3,476 system, but it brings it down to $3,372. $3,372, there you go, with my discount. And then built live on stream for your enjoyment. Is Skytech the only system integrator building live on stream? No, other ones are doing the same. They're starting to do the same thing. Skytech, I feel like they had a plan. This doesn't feel like a reactionary thing. They've done builds on stream before. There is a void now, and people miss that already. They miss watching PCs being built. There's some people who just like to have it on in the background while they're doing other stuff. So Alexander PCs has been streaming a build here and there for quite a while now. And it's usually really cool and chill, and I love it. So yeah, Alexander PCs have been doing it for a while now. They'll do a build live on stream. And if you buy yourself a system from Alexander PCs, you can probably just email them and say, hey, can I watch it being built on stream? TJ would like jump at that and be like, absolutely. You want that? We'll do that. Power GPU has done it. And just there are other companies who have been venturing into the space of doing that. I highly recommend this. It's a great practice because you get to watch your system being built. It takes all the doubt out of it, whether it was built with care or just thrown together in a bag and shaken up till everything's stuck together. That's pretty much it for the video, guys. I hope that you guys are excited about this because I am too. I want the industry to move in this direction. I want everyone who decides that they want to buy a PC to be able to watch it being put together, to interact with the person building it. And by the way, no, Skytech doesn't do the whole like, hey, you guys should gift subs and then you're gonna get a SATA drive or something. Anyway, I hope you guys like the video. Come hang out in the stream tonight, because if you're watching this on Sunday, I'm gonna be streaming tonight. Watch for the 2 extra videos coming out this week, unless I totally mess up and fall way behind or something. Yes, 2 extra videos coming out this week, and really exciting stuff. We've got a build happening, and it's complicated. I'll see you tonight on stream, and or Tuesday or Thursday, whichever night you can make it. And until then, take care.